Oh, hi. I am in the middle of doing a daffodil rendering, and I am actually doing it on paper with a lot of different mixed media components. So I have used illustration markers, I have used water soluble markers, I have used crayon, I have used a whole lot of different things. Now, I'm taking a minute to just kind of do my background. This is a technique that I like to do with my particular style of art, and I am just going to kind of wiggle in some color, and with my filbert brush I'm just going to kind of wiggle in a little bit of color right in between each petal here, and then I'm going to show you how I do a background using my technique. So my technique is a little bit different than the common way of doing the backgrounds. So I use a lot of scribbling, and today is National Scribble Day. So I thought, well, let me just show you how I do a little Scribble Scrabble using this one of our challenge flowers this week. And I'm just going to kind of go in and just kind of dab just a little bit of color. That's one of the reasons why I love using these filbert brushes, because when I do a little short staccato motion with my brush, it creates a lot of interesting texture. Now, not everybody likes that kind of design. So I always say, if you are familiar with a more traditional style of painting where you would maybe do your background first and or kind of do it as you go if you're doing watercolor, if you're more familiar with doing a traditional style painting and you're very comfortable with that and that's your way, I say go for that, because we are in the business of creating collections that look uniquely ours, right? So even if I give you this design that's behind me here in the line drawing of this design, I would hope that you would have your own style of creating this design. This is the design that I did last year. We had a summer art fest with Folk City Art, and I taught this painting in that over the summer. And well, anyway, so now that you are in the spring symposium, you will get that design, the line drawing, so you can actually create with it. It's actually one of our flowers that we're doing this week is a tulip. So this is just like right on time. It's right on time for this week number 2. So as you can see, I'm taking my brush and I'm doing some really messy strokes all the way around, because I like to kind of create a really modern style painting that is really forgiving, very, very fast, very, very quick, very, very fast, very, very quick. Not a whole lot of expensive technique here. It's Scribble Scrabble. And so sometimes we have light spots, sometimes we have dark spots, and I like it like that. And one of the reasons why I like it like that is because of it. When I go in and I do my glazing with my water and my gesso, I do kind of like a little bit of gesso and a little bit of water, and I create all of these really cool bubble effects like all over my painting. And I use the colors of the palette that I'm working with. It creates like this really fast and loose appearance. So I do a lot of wiggle whams, little wiggle wham. That's like a fancy term for Scribble Scrabble. And you just kind of go all over the place. It makes painting really loose and a little bit more on the modern side. So, all right, so we have a daffodil in the very middle. And I'm not going to do much with this. I'm just going to go ahead and set this aside. I'm going to show you how I created this daffodil really quick. And of course, I'm not finished. This is probably going to take me a couple more hours to do. But the way that I sometimes do illustrations, sometimes I sit and I keep going. And then sometimes I leave it and I come back to it. This is one that I have to leave and come back to because it has a lot of water that needs to dry. Okay, I like the little messy action strokes that are going on here. Some people would not necessarily like that. Again, you do you. If you like the more traditional way, do it the more traditional way. I like it this way because I can create some really cool effects like this that I did here in the ranunculus. I can create some of those really funkadelic looking textures that are going on behind me. I'm not using any stencils, no bubble wrap. There's nothing going on here. It's just me, some marking tools, and some brushes. So my mixed media of choice is crayon, wax crayon, water-soluble markers, indelible markers or acrylic. Well, I do like acrylic markers now. Let's see, the alcohol-based markers, which would be your illustration markers. I like pencil. I like acrylic paint. I like pastel. I like to use all of the different tools that have pigment already in them. I like to use paper collage. And this is all just crayon, marker, and acrylic medium right on top of good old-fashioned poster board. So, and it creates like a really nice design. And that's a design that I can actually use. I can do a really great photograph of. And then I can upload it into a design account and sell the design. So that would be part of the collection that I'm working on right here. You can see that I'm also working in the same color, the same colorway, the same color palette. So possibly this Narcissus would be part of that collection. That is, of course, always the intention. So I'm going to set this aside. And I'm going to show you in my workbook here. This is my Spring Symposium workbook right here. So on the page, I don't want to break apart my workbook, but I did anyway. So let me just clip it together. It's such a big workbook that I actually needed to use binder clips. Okay, so in my workbook here, I have my 3 different designs. So if you have the workbook, you can do the same thing. You can look at the daffodil profile that is given to you, or you can go on a little field trip on the computer. I'm looking at my computer. I don't know if you knew that. So you can go into the computer, you can go on a little field trip, and you can pull up images of daffodils. I put my secret code in there. You can pull up daffodil, and you can look at all different kinds of images of daffodil. So I'm looking at a large cup daffodil, and I can also look at different, let's see, I'm going to look at this one. It says large cup daffodil pink pride. This is from dutchbulbs.com, and a lot of times these the seed catalogs, the bulb catalogs, and little nursery catalogs that you can get like mail order plants from, These are fabulous for finding, first of all, for finding things to plant in your garden so that you can always just walk out to your garden and take your own snapshots, or you can use some of their snapshots and get some inspiration from them. So I have a narcissus that I have created back in, oh, I got a little blue on there, a narcissus or daffodil flower that I had created back in January of 2021 on Folk City Art. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to kind of walk you through the steps here of how you would sketch this out on your paper. Make sure I don't have any more blue on me. Let's see if I can find a pen that you can see. I can't tell if you can see it. Okay, so I'm going to try this, and if I can't see it in my video screen here, then I will. Oh, let's see. Let me see if I can see it. If I pull it up. All right, let's see. La, la, la. I might have to refresh real quick. Excuse me. Let me go on this little field trip on the good old Facebook. It's hard to not get distracted by all the pretty things that are going on Facebook. So that is one of the reasons why I chose to do this particular spring symposium in your email, so that you wouldn't be too heavily distracted by all of the wonderful things that are on there. There I am. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you can see what I'm about to do. All right, so I have like a large cup narcissus, and I'm just going to tell you that I'm going to draw a map right here on my gridded area. There are 6 petals. So if you make a triangle, like plot it out, so your 3 marks on your page here. Okay, you can see me pretty good. Okay. And then do another one. It's almost like you're making a Star of David. Okay, so you have 6. And it's okay if they're not exactly equilateral. That's okay. And you can go down to the very, very middle. That will be where the stamen is right there. But narcissus have like this cup. So I want you to, whichever direction you want to do, you do like this real slight, kind of like a little smile. It could be like maybe just a bump. And we're going to create like a little bit of a U out of it. And then we're going to stop. And then we're going to take our pen and we're going to do like this real wavy oval. Okay. Very wavy oval. Very wavy. Okay. And then inside of here's the center of the flower, right? So just a little 1/2 inch up. You can put like a Y, and then you can put like a little bump like in the middle of the Y. Put another dot. You can put another dot, and then that's your stamen. Okay, so we're just drawing like a very, very basic shape of a daffodil. So here's the middle right here underneath, and here's the bump. The bump goes way out. But we're going to kind of pretend, kind of do a little ghost drawing with our pen and trace in the air. And then once you land on the paper, and then do like this little very, very wide V. Okay. And then stop it. And then on same thing. You're going to go out, and then once you hit the paper, you're going to hit the paper, and you're going to kind of draw up to the point there, and then the point is going to make a little petal. Same thing. We're going to skip this one here, and then we're going to go over to the other side. So from the middle, we're going to make a ghost Y or V shape, very wide V. And then it's going to go out and then land back at the dot. Same thing, middle, ghost, land, and then back up to the dot, just like that. And then we're going to skip a dot, and then we're going to go up, and we're going to do the same thing. Air, I'm going to do a little air V right there. We're going to land on the paper, make a little roundy thing, go up to the dot, make a V, go down, okay, and then it would come back down. Same thing. So you can finish it out, okay. So you've got the dot in the middle, little air drawing, and then land, and then to the dot, air drawing, land, and then to the dot with your pencil. Okay, here's the middle again. We're going to air draw, land to the dot, make the V all the way down. And I'm going to tell you that it has now a very distorted shape, but when we take this dot, which would be the center of the flower, kind of like where the little straw stem would come down, maybe it kind of angles this way, or maybe you can just make it go straight down, but usually it's going to go kind of air draw, and then you can just draw it straight down. Now the let me try that on our more stiff surface. So it's air draw, and then a straight, like a straw, straight down. So it can have like a little candy cane action. We're not going to finish the whole candy cane. Wow, I really used a lot of accidental pen strokes. But you can see here, and then I'm going to just kind of hash mark to where the center of the flower would be. See that? See how it has the little hash mark to the center, and then you draw the stem down. Now, the daffodil has kind of like grass type, because of the type of flower that it is. It has these really blade-like leaves. Okay, whenever it grows, it almost looks like it's growing in a big clump of grass. Okay, so you can add that in if you want to. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you to do after you create your sketch. I want you to do kind of like I did before. Take your limited color palette, and using your sketch, go ahead and put that on the paper or surface that you're going to be painting with, drawing with, marking with, collaging with, whatever your medium is that you're doing in the Spring Symposium. Do a completed rendering, and then after you're finished, I want you to go and post your finished drawing in Art a Day Challenge. Okay, that's the free group. You don't have to do that, but that's like a little bonus action point if you wanted to do that. So go and finish it up. You can look at what you see on the internet, and you can be inspired by what it is that you see, or you can use your limited color palette. One of the things that I just learned is that daffodils actually come with a little pink cup. Not always are they orange or yellow. Not always are they orange or yellow. So my limited color palette may just be the perfect thing to create a new looking daffodil. Now, if you want to take it a step further, maybe you might want to take your daffodils and put them in a vase and do like a whole bundle of daffodils, like in a cute little vase or cup or something. I can't wait to see what it is that you choose to do for your week 2 challenge with daffodil. Now, on Tuesday, Folk City Art, I would love for you to join me live or catch the replay. I'm going to be talking about tulip, which is one of our flowers this week. So if you would like to join me live on Folk City Art on Tuesday, this is what you need to do. Make sure you are part of my Remind community, which you can do this by texting 8101 and then in the chat bar put in the @ art girl and then hit send. That will have you signed up for my texting community, and I will notify you when I am about to go live so you can join me. Now, if you can't join me live because you're busy doing life, I get it. You can always go back and you can catch the replay. And the benefit of doing the replay is that you can stop it and start it at any time. Also, another thing that I love about a replay on Facebook on the computer is that there's this little trick that whenever you pull it up on your computer, you can actually speed up the person that is talking. You can speed up the video so that they can go faster. Sometimes because I have a Southern voice and I talk a little slower, some people probably really like putting me on 1.25 or 1.5. Make me sound like a chipmunk. It's okay. Get the information. And if you have to speed it up so that you can get it all done, I am totally okay with you speeding me up so that I sound like a chipmunk. I don't mind. But I want you to go ahead and make sure that you're part of that texting community, because also on Wednesday in my free group, Art a Day Challenge, I will be showing how to do an iris. Now, I love doing an iris. There's lots of really cool strokes that are in an iris. And if you have the workbook, you can look at the picture of the iris here. Now mine's printed in black and white because I was trying to save ink. But if you've downloaded the workbook, you can look at the iris or go on your own little field trip and see how beautiful and different each iris looks. There's all different kinds of irises, but they are so pretty because they have such a unique looking petal, and they have a really cool throat that we are going to look at on Wednesday. So make sure you're part of the texting community, and I can't wait to see what it is that you do in week number 2. This is our first challenge, daffodil. Go and do that. This is the simple challenge right here. Go on your little Google field trip or your Bing field trip and find the daffodil, and you're probably going to see that daffodil has a lot of different botanical names and common names. One of mine that I know to be true is paper white. Paper whites, jonquil. Let's see, what's the other one? That sometimes people have called them buttercups, which a lot of times people call all kinds of things buttercups, but some people call them buttercups. They're not the kind of buttercup that I grew up with, but because they're a cup flower, sometimes they'll call it that. Some people call it like spring trumpets. I mean, there's all different kinds of names that they call these little guys, but they are from the botanical variety of narcissus. So when you do go on, look for the ones that you can see a good photo reference and you can take a look and you can see it has 6 petals. Now, there are some that have double the layers or double the petals, but naturally daffodil has 6 petals. So go and take a look. Here was our little sketch, just a little drawing a little map right here. You can use your own paper if you don't have the workbook. If you still want to get the workbook, it's still available. You just have to let me know that you need it. Okay, guys, it's a pleasure as always. And if you have any questions at all, don't forget you can always message me on Facebook at Folk City Art. And I will get with you as soon as I can. All right, bye-bye, guys.